Hi guys, Bike Paul here. Hope you're all well. So it's been a while since I featured a bike on my channel and took one out for a spin. I actually used to own a Triumph Street Triple 765 RS. I've since purchased this bike. In fact, it was bought earlier on this year, back in February. Just never got round to doing the video. But if you're up on your bikes, I'm able to identify it just from that little part there. But if we zoom out, we'll show you the bike in full. So this is the Suzuki GSX S1000. So yep, purchased it like I say back in February. I paid approximately £10,200. Got a good deal on this. It came with heated grips, fitted as standard. And yeah, we'll give you a bit of a walk around of the bike, go over the specs and features, and then we'll take it out for a spin and go a little bit more in depth. Obviously, this is not a brand new kind of model or model range, but there's a specific kind of reason I went for this bike, and I'm going to talk through the bikes that I had in mind when I made that choice. But yeah, I love the bike, it's fantastic. So in terms of specs and features then, so it's an engine based on the GSXR 1000, the K5 engine, legendary engine, super smooth, plenty of power. It's a 999cc inline four, putting out 150 brake horsepower. The weight is 214 kilograms. It's got fully adjustable KYB suspension. We'll just go to the front here. Lovely kind of gold forks there, obviously upside down forks. You can see the adjusters there. It's got an up and down quick shifter, super smooth gearbox. So it's a quick shifter and a blipper, up and down quick shifter and blipper there. It's got the Suzuki Easy Start, which basically means that you can just press the starter button there. Once you've turned the ignition on, it'll start up straight away. You don't need to pull in a clutch or anything like that. It's got traction control, so it's got 3 stages of traction control. It's got a slipper clutch and 3 power modes. Okay, so it's an old school LCD dash, so that's quite old fashioned, but it's still got a lot of features. It doesn't have an IMU, so the kind of standard power modes and traction control, but without an IMU unit. It's a slipper clutch as well. And if we go over to the brakes, so as you can see, we've got Brembo monoblock calipers there on 310mm discs. I like the blue wheels as well. I think they look fantastic. It's a 19-litre fuel tank, which is quite unusual because a lot of bikes in this kind of category, including my previous Triumph, have a 17-litre fuel tank. So yeah, nice big fuel tank there. It's a weight of 214 kilogram with an 810mm seat height. The seat itself is super comfortable, so it's really good if you're spending a lot of time in the saddle riding the bike. You can see the rear suspension down there. In terms of accessories, there's not much I've done to the bike in all honesty, but I have fitted this Evotech radiator guard. That was purchased and fairly easy to fit, just did that myself. It's got the factory heated grips which were fitted when I purchased it. I've just put on a little quad lock there, quad lock mount. And yeah, it's a great, easy to use, reliable, powerful bike. And I find it really exciting. I'd probably go so far as to say it's the best bike I've ever owned, and that's saying a lot because I've owned, Triumph Street Triples, SV650s, a lot of different bikes, and I've ridden quite a few different bikes as well. And yeah, I really love this bike. It's such an enjoyable bike to ride. We've got LED lights all round and indicators, nice slim indicators there. This camo pattern's a bit unusual, but I quite like it, and it just fits in with the overall kind of modern aesthetic. Obviously, you can see the front here, we've got the LED lights there. So yeah, I guess the competition would be the bikes that are coming out next year from Honda in terms of the Hornet. So you've got the Hornet 1000, you've got the standard and the SP model. And we'll have a little look at the competition when we take it out for a spin. We'll go through that, but hopefully you've enjoyed this little walk around. Like I said, just to give you an idea of the bike, it's not the cleanest. I took it to the Birmingham NEC for the Motorcycle Live and it absolutely chucked it down there. I did clean it when I got back, but yeah, if you see any parts where it's a little bit dirty, then that'll be why. Obviously you've got ABS at the front as well. For the dash here, and we'll start it up. So like I say, it's a bit of a kind of old school LCD dash. It does have all the information you need. So as you can see, we've got a gearing position indicator, the traction control, 3 levels of traction control. I just have it on 2. The SDMS, if you can just see that there, that's the Suzuki drive mode selector, I believe it stands for. So it's got 3 riding modes. I keep it the most powerful, which is A. You've got a QS, which is just to show the quick shifters activated. This is a fuel gauge up here, obviously speedo. Then you've got the range till it's empty, trip meter, the average miles per gallon, and obviously you've got a red light on the side for the traction control, indicator for neutral, and a light for the ABS. These light up at the top, and they're basically programmable depending on the revs, so you can change those. I think I've left them in default. I might have tinkered with them once or twice, but I tend not to pay much attention to those. But I guess it's suitable or relevant if you're breaking the bike in for the engine, because you can set them to come on at a certain RPM, and then you'd know when to change gear or keep it below a certain revs for breaking in, or if you're taking it on a track. So they're quite useful. It is a little bit hard to navigate the menus on the on the LCD screen. TFTs tend to be easier from that point of view, but like I say, it's usable and it has all the information. I actually find the rev counter, which goes around here, easier than the Triumph, which did have a full TFT. The layout on the Triumph Street Triple bikes isn't very good in my opinion, but yeah, so that's easy to read. But a TFT probably would be welcome, and I think the model coming out next year by Suzuki of this bike is going to have a TFT from what I've seen, although the website hasn't been updated to show that. So the controls are done from here, so you can go through the menus. Obviously got a mode button, just usual, that's your heated grips, and then that's the single start button. So yeah, quite easy to read, nice and clear. You can adjust the brightness. I believe this is fairly close to maximum brightness, so it's not the brightest screen, but I've never had a problem with it. So we'll start it up. Like I say, it's just one button, one press, and you don't need to pull the clutch in or anything. Nice and easy.
Okay, so we are then aboard the Suzuki GSX-S 1000, and yeah, it's a great riding position. It's super comfortable, no reach to the bars, my legs aren't cramped in any way. I'm around 6'1", and the seat's really comfortable, and yeah, just a great bike overall in terms of the riding position. I mean, the Triumph Street Triple 765 RS, my previous bike, that was comfortable as well. I'd said probably the seat was a little harder on that one, and but probably nitpicking there wasn't really any issue with that bike in terms of its riding position. It's just I kind of felt as well that bike was probably always a little bit too small in terms of its dimensions. Obviously you've got a really big fuel tank here, and that helps in the width of the bike. Because I'm fairly tall, it just kind of has more of a presence and feels a little bit more substantial. I always felt like a bit of a giant on the Triumph, if I'm being honest. So yeah, the actual size of the bike is really good, but the riding position is just really natural. Nothing feels cramped in any way at all. In terms of wind protection or the wind resistance, obviously it's a naked bike. As you can see, it's got no screen. I did own an MT-09 where I fitted an aftermarket screen, and to be honest, I wouldn't say that this is really any worse than that, and that had the screen fitted. It's about on par with the Triumph and other bikes. I wouldn't say it's any better or worse. You're going to get hit by the wind, especially on the motorway, but it's nothing outrageous. It's just on a par with other naked bikes, really. And yeah, in terms of, like I said, the thing that really drew me to this is just the smoothness of the engine, the power, and the way it handles. It's just such a lovely handling bike. It has got the quick shift. Obviously, as you can see, I'm just kind of in town area now, so it's not something that I'd engage at the moment, but you probably need to give it some beans. You have to give it, a bit of a handful in terms of getting the quick shifter engaged. It's only kind of similar to other bikes so that I've used that I've quick shifters in the past, like the MT-09 and the Triumph Street Triple. In fact, I think this is probably a little bit smoother. It's got the blipper. I tend to use the quick shifter for the upshifts more than the blipper for the downshifts. I don't know, I just always find it more comfortable to go with the quick shifter and just change down gears manually. But yeah, it's got the quick shifter, and in terms of other tech, obviously you've got the riding modes. I just keep it in riding mode A. I just find that that's good for everyday use, and it's the best one as well if you want to get into some more spirited riding. You've got the traction control, 3 levels of traction control. Again, I just keep it on like the middle one, traction control level 2. And to be honest, this is a great bike. Even if you weren't out Sunday riding, in the twisties, just to go out and about, it's a good bike. Just for general kind of road riding. In terms of its competition, you've obviously got the Hondas coming out next year, the Hornets, you've got the Hornet 1000s, the standard in the SP, I think the standard comes in at under 9 grand, the SP is going to be £10,000. They're about similar horsepower to this, they're 150 horsepower as well. The SP, I believe, has Brembo style levers, so obviously you've got a bit better in terms of braking performance, and I think the SP has 5 horsepower more than the standard. So that's a Honda Hornets that are out next year. They're obviously undercutting this on price, but relatively similar on performance, and there are good deals to be had on the Suzuki. So right now I've seen a lot of websites online selling this for £11,000 with a free Acapulco exhaust and on 0% finance. When I bought this, I was actually looking at the 8S, and I had an 8S on order, Suzuki 8S, but the 8S at the time, that was on 4.9% APR, and this was on 2.9, so I switched, cancelled my 8S order, and basically ordered this one because there wasn't much difference in terms of monthly price, and I thought, well, I'll go for the performance of this, and I've not looked back. I might potentially look at the 800DE if I wanted to go down the adventure bike route in future, but yeah, this is a great bike for the money. So if you can get a good deal on it, I'd definitely suggest it. Obviously, other competition, you've got the MT10, but that was around £14,300 now. And it has more tech, it's got a 6-axis IMU, so you know, you're talking basically more tech. I think it's got like a titanium exhaust, 15 horsepower more than this, but you know, you're looking at around about £3,500 extra for that bike, so that's going to be quite an extra outlay on top of this. So I guess it's depends what you're looking for, because direct competition, probably Honda Hornet, but then there are other bikes, but they're more premium, so you're looking at your BMWs, your Aprilias, Ducatis, and even the MT10 are putting that kind of premium market. I'd say the MT10 has a more aggressive kind of riding characteristic in terms of its acceleration. It's very aggressive on the acceleration. This is much smoother, but yeah, for me this bike's ideal. It can kind of do everything, but it's got the excitement when you want. It's got that speed factor. If you want to take it into twisties, it's great, and it'll probably be a match for those bikes in all honesty. And yeah, I mean, in terms of pros and cons, so pros, I would say, like I say, engine, that's the main star on this bike, it's fantastic, and the super smooth gearbox, again, is fantastic, and it's going to be reliable. You know, Hondas have 3-year warranties, they are extended to 7 years as well. As long as you service it every year, the warranty is extended up to 7 years, which is fantastic really, you know, to get a bike with a 7-year warranty. It's going to be pretty reliable anyway, because it's a Suzuki, they always are. So that's definitely in the pro column. Like I say, super comfortable, you could ride on this for hours, I think, without any issues. And even the tyres, I mean, they're nothing special. I'll put on the screen, because I think they're just Dunlop, I can't remember exactly the make and model. These are the standard tyres that the bike came with. And, you know, they're probably not the grippiest in terms of if you're really going for it, but they're fine. And when I came back from the motorcycle live show at the NEC, it absolutely tipped it down. And it was torrential rain on the motorway for like literally all the way back to Sheffield, and I never had any issues. I never thought, well, you know, this is getting sketchy. In terms of the tyres, they were fine, and that was horrendous rain as well. So yeah, again, tyres are okay. You probably want to swap them anyway at some point, but to begin with, they're fine. And I think possibly other than that, there's some, in terms of the fit and finish, that's good. You know, I like the paint schemes on the bike, and they do quite a few nice little one-off ones as well. I've seen some kind of custom models, and because the bike's been out around a while now, there's so much you can do in terms of modifying this, in terms of aftermarket exhausts and all sorts of extras that you can get fitted to the bike. For cons then, I'll probably say the brakes aren't as sharp as they could be. They're okay, but possibly because I used to the Triumph, which had like a Brembo master cylinder and braided lines. These are more like the standard Brembo monoblocks, so nothing fancy really, but they do the job. You know, they stop the bike fine. I'm never feeling like I'm in any kind of danger, or well, I wish I had, you know, much better brakes, because I'd be able to stop a lot faster. It's not as sharp as what I was used to on the Triumph. So it depends what the bike is that you're coming from. If you're coming from a bike that's got the latest and greatest brake style levers and so on, then you might notice a bit of a downgrade. So possible con on the brakes, and then other than that, maybe I would probably say the screen, because it is nice and clear as you can see now, but I think a TFT would be even better, especially with navigating the menus. As I mentioned before, that one is something that I believe Suzuki are looking at for possibly next year, so hopefully there'll be a better screen. But really with cons, I'd be kind of nitpicking. Potentially, it might be nice if this had like a USB port as well up near the dash. Some bikes have that now as standard, that'd be good. Near the cruise control, but a lot of bikes this category don't. So, you know, again, I'm nitpicking, but in terms of performance, you can't beat it. So, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, if you're looking at this bike in future for yourself, let me know. But I'd definitely recommend it. It's a fantastic bike, super user friendly, but it's got the performance when you want it. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll put out another video soon. Okay, cheers guys.